In the enchanting setting of the green hills of northern Italy lies the quiet village of Santa Lucia, a place where time seems to have stopped. But right here, in the quiet of this devout community, a mysterious and extraordinary event has upset daily life and tested the faith of many. This is the story of a young man named Giovanni, an 11-year-old boy whose encounter with the divine has left an indelible mark on the hearts of those who knew him. Giovanni was the youngest of a family of humble and devout farmers, known in the community for their dedication to the land and their deep faith. From an early age, Giovanni had shown an extraordinary interest in spirituality. He spent hours immersed in the Holy Scriptures, often alone in the fields or in the woods surrounding his home, where he would meditate in silence and pray. His innate goodness and devotion made him an admired and respected young man, but no one could have ever imagined what fate had in store for him. It all began on a beautiful spring morning, when Giovanni went to the small church of Santa Lucia for his usual morning prayer. The sun filtered through the stained glass windows, casting reflections of light on the silent nave. As he knelt in meditation, something extraordinary happened. The lamps of the sanctuary seemed to pulse with a light of their own, and an intense feeling of peace pervaded the environment. Suddenly, a luminous figure, wrapped in a golden light, appeared beside Giovanni. With amazement and reverence, the young man realized that the figure was none other than Jesus Christ. With a sweet and loving voice, Jesus began to speak to John, asking him about his love for faith and for others. He transmitted profound teachings, words full of hope, love, and compassion. John described that meeting as an embrace of warmth and light, a feeling that transcended any earthly description. At the end of the dialogue, Jesus entrusted John with a special mission to spread messages of faith and hope among people. When Giovanni returned home that evening, he shared the experience with his family over dinner. At first, his parents were skeptical of the story, fearing that their son was imagining or misinterpreting something. However, the serenity and conviction that shone through his words led them to believe that something extraordinary had indeed happened. The news spread quickly through the village, arousing a range of reactions from excitement to perplexity. The community of Santa Lucia was divided. Some welcomed Giovanni's testimony as a true miracle, a divine sign that strengthened their faith. Others, however, expressed doubts, considering it a possible figment of the imagination of a fervent child or even a deception. The parish, under the guidance of the pastor, organized meetings to discuss the event, trying to maintain a balance between spiritual openness and prudence. In the meantime, the small temple became a destination for pilgrimages, with believers coming from far and wide to pray and hope to live a similar experience. In the midst of this tension, John continued to frequent the temple, spending hours in prayer and reflection. Many watched him with admiration, while others scrutinized him with skepticism, looking for signs of deception or exaggeration. However, the young man always remained consistent in his story, displaying a calmness and wisdom that seemed beyond his years. Even the national media began to take an interest in the case, turning Santa Lucia into a center of media attention. Journalists, theologians, and the curious crowded the streets of the village, trying to understand and document the event. Giovanni, despite the uproar, remained calm and determined, continuing to humbly recount his experience and the message that had been entrusted to him. "The Lord asked me to spread love and hope," he often repeated, with a light in his eyes that seemed to reflect his deep conviction. Despite the difficulties and criticism, Giovanni began to dedicate his time to meeting people, sharing words of comfort and inspiration. His words touched the hearts of many, lighting a spark of hope even in the most skeptical. One day, during a television interview, John spoke with disarming simplicity. "I am not the protagonist of this story, but the message I received. Jesus invites us to look into each other's eyes and rediscover the lost brotherhood." These words resonated deeply, leading many to reflect on their own lives and the need to rediscover essential values. Meanwhile, Santa Lucia became a place of pilgrimage. The small, once silent temple became a meeting place for people from all over the country and beyond. Visitors gathered to pray, to listen to John, and to seek spiritual connection. Some reported experiencing a deep and inexplicable peace inside the church, while others simply observed with curiosity and respect. As the months passed, the media hype began to wane, but Giovanni's story lived on in the stories of the community and in the hearts of those who had been fortunate enough to listen to him. Now an adult, Giovanni lives a simple life, but his mission remains unchanged: to spread the message of love, compassion, and hope he received in that extraordinary encounter. The story of John and his encounter with Jesus is a powerful reminder of the power of faith and humanity's ability to find hope even in the darkest of times. Regardless of one's beliefs, this narrative invites everyone to reflect on spirituality, the power of miracles, and the beauty of sharing positive messages. For those seeking comfort and inspiration, John's words offer guidance to a brighter, more loving world. Over time, Giovanni began to hold regular meetings in the Santa Lucia temple. During these occasions, he shared not only his story, but also teachings from the scriptures and reflections on the need to live a more authentic and loving life. His voice, although young, was full of wisdom, and his words resonated in the hearts of those who listened to him. A significant event occurred during one of these meetings, when an elderly man who had traveled for days to meet Giovanni stood up and said, "Your story has given me back the faith I had lost for years. Thank you for showing me that miracles are still possible." This simple yet powerful moment captured the essence of Giovanni's mission: to inspire, encourage, and heal broken hearts. Despite the enormous attention he received, Giovanni always remained humble. He continued to live with his family, helping in the fields and participating in community life. For him, the message was always more important than the messenger. This modest attitude helped to consolidate the respect and admiration towards him. The community of Santa Lucia, though initially divided, found a new sense of unity thanks to the presence of Giovanni. Disputes subsided, replaced by open dialogue and renewed devotion. The small village became a symbol of hope and faith, attracting not only the faithful, but also scholars interested in better understanding the impact of this extraordinary event on people's lives. Today, John's story continues to be told, uniting generations and cultures. It is a living testimony to the power of faith and humanity's ability to find light, even in the darkest moments. John, with his simplicity and love for others, reminds us that miracles are not just extraordinary events, but can also manifest themselves through small, everyday gestures of kindness and compassion. May John's story inspire all of us to seek the divine in our daily lives, to share love and hope, and to believe that, even in the most difficult moments, there is always a light ready to guide us to a better future.